Welcome back, everybody, to the New York Knicks MyNBA franchise here on NBA 2K23. Today we have made it to the trade deadline here in year number 3. The team has been playing some pretty good basketball this season as we're currently in the mix for a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. There's been a lot of pressure within the fan base and the organization to go out and make a big move and acquire a star. And that's going to be the goal today. We're going to look to get a legitimate all-star player to help this team make a playoff push, and hopefully a guy who can be a building block for our team for years to come. But we're going to try to be smart about it and not mortgage away our whole future, because that'd be pretty stupid. This team is super balanced. We have 8 guys averaging at least double figures in points per game, which is really impressive. Nobody's averaging more than 16. It's just a very balanced approach, which I don't think is a bad thing, but I think having a clear number one scoring option could also really benefit this team. Currently, we're in 7th place. We took on some of the best teams in the East last episode, including the Cavs, in which we allowed a 68-26 run in the second and third quarters combined. I don't need to tell you that's not good. We also played against the Hornets, the one team who has a better record right now than Cleveland. We also lost that game as well, showing that although we have a nice young core, this team really is not set up to beat teams like Cleveland or Charlotte in 7-game playoff series. And I think we'd lose probably in no more than 5 games to either one of those teams. There's a lot of big-name players who could be on the move within these next few years, and we have a real opportunity to strike. As we look at our contract situation, we've got a number of guys who are impending free agents. Splash Mayo, for me, is the name who really pops out here because he wants a lot of money. He's asking for around $23 million a season, and he's been playing some good basketball recently. I really like his long-term potential. But the fact of the matter is, he's averaging 11 points per game and doesn't have one redeeming skill. Jackson Watkins is interesting too because he only plays 11 minutes a game, but I really like his upside. So both of those guys are pretty fascinating, along with John Collins, and it's looking more and more likely he will decline his player option to become an unrestricted free agent this offseason, and we've got to figure out if we want to pay him, because since December, where he balled out, he's been pretty bad since the new year. In January and February, he has averaged a combined total of less than 12 points per game, and that's not cutting it for a guy who's going to want $30+ million in a year from now. Splash Mayo is fully healthy. That's good because he's a key role player, and we might need him healthy in case we want to trade him, which very well could be possible. So we've officially made it to deadline day. We're 29-26 and currently half a game behind the Indiana Pacers, who are currently in 6th place. So let's talk about some stars who could be on the move. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is at the top of the list. We've been talking about him since last season. The Thunder made a push in the offseason to improve, to try to keep Shai around, and it's not really happening. They're in 13th place in the Western Conference, and although they're certainly far from out of it, they have gotten worse compared to a year ago, and it seems like it's inevitable within the next season or so that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will want out of Oklahoma City because the team just is not winning games. Some other options include Jimmy Butler, who is on a bad Miami Heat team. He's 35 years old, and he's really starting to show signs of regression in terms of his statistics. But he's still a really valuable piece for a young team like possibly ours, and I think he'd be a perfect fit here. He is very expensive, though, which is not ideal because he's probably going to continue to get even worse over the next season and a half. If we want someone who's even older than him, look no further than LeBron James of the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron is 40. He's also showing signs of regression. He originally said he was planning to retire at the end of the year, and now that might not be true. But with the Lakers currently in second to last place in the Western Conference, a LeBron or Anthony Davis trade feels inevitable. You could look for a guy like Giannis or Joel Embiid. Both players are 30. Both of them are on mediocre teams. Maybe they don't get traded right now, but it could happen within the next year or so. And then Luka Doncic could be a name to watch for as well because the Mavericks have not shown a willingness to try to, win basketball games with him. So let's start with Jimmy Butler. I think this would be a pretty fair offer. Splash Mayo, Jackson Watkins, a future first-round pick, and 3 second-rounders. The Heat would say no. So I thought about it a little bit, and I'm really not willing to give up much more. I think the type of package Miami would look for is something like this. Coco Diablo, Splash Mayo, 2 ones, which they would agree to, but I don't agree to this trade. I don't want to do it. I don't think it's worth trading a guy like Coco Diablo, who could be an all-star in the future, for a guy like Jimmy Butler, who's 35. Let's try LeBron James. We'll do the same offer, Splash, Watkins, a future 1 and 3 2s. They say no. So then we go back to this whole Coco Diablo thing with Mayo and 2 1s. And again, the Lakers would do it. But I don't think it's worth it to give up 2 really good young players, again, especially Coco Diablo, along with 2 1s. I just don't think it's worth it. So I think rather than looking at Jimmy and LeBron right now, why not do a more broad search around the league and try to find somebody else we could go for? And a name who kind of caught my attention is Paul George of the Atlanta Hawks. George is still producing at a high level. He's averaging 21 a night. The Hawks are currently in 9th place, so they're in the play-in currently. But Paul George is a free agent. And along with that, the move from LA to Atlanta just hasn't really worked out for all parties, and I think a new change of scenery for PG could do him well. So this is our offer. Emmanuel Quickley, who is a solid young guard. He's had a smaller role this year. I still think he's playing pretty well, all things considered, but we just have a logjam in the backcourt, and we just don't really need him. The only problem is he is very happy to be here, and he has a no-trade clause, so that's not good. Along with that, Alexander Swift III, somebody who's currently in our G League, is a player that they really like. He's big and he can shoot. We're also offering them a future top 10 protected first-round pick in exchange for Paul George and Cole Swider. I think it's a pretty fair offer considering George's value is kind of at an all-time low. They say no and offer us this counter. 2 seconds for a future first. Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. We originally gave them that Raptors pick last offseason in the Jalen Brunson, John Collins swap, so we get the pick back as the Hawks officially accept the trade. I'm really excited about the addition of Paul George to this basketball team. He's 34, he's not the same player he once was, and he's a free agent this offseason, but he's still producing at a high level. I think he can be our number 1 scoring option the rest of the year, and he's never won a championship, so he's going to be as motivated as ever to play well with this team down the stretch going into the playoffs. That's going to be the only trade we end up making, and I'm really happy with it. I'm really excited about the addition of Paul George to this team. I think we really improved our roster today. So this is what the starting lineup is going to be pretty much for the rest of the year, barring injuries, which with this team is inevitable. We still have Cam Reddish and Cesar DiCarlo currently injured. Reddish, I think, will be back any day, whereas DiCarlo, I don't think he's going to come back this year, so I'm just kind of disregarding him at the moment. Let's talk about the trade deadline for the rest of the NBA. There's going to be some big moves around the league that I'm really excited to talk about. Let's start in Lakerland. LeBron and AD gotta go. The Lakers need to start over. They need to build around some of their young players like Ty Williams. LeBron's 40, he wants to win. AD wants to win. It's time. So we've got a 3-team deal here. Both players are going to Texas. LeBron and Russell Westbrook are headed to Dallas, while Anthony Davis and Patrick Beverley are headed to Houston. The Rockets are giving up Josh Christopher, Tari Eason, Ty Washington, and a couple of future draft picks. Those are all really good young role players, but they're not part of Houston's main core of guys like Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, Jaden Lewis-Cameron, and J.J. Henderson. So I think it's worth it for the Rockets, who are addressing their biggest weakness at center. Alperen Şengün's a fine player, but this is Anthony Davis we're talking about. So I think this is a win-win deal for both teams. The Lakers get some guys they can build around, and the Rockets, who have the best record in basketball, have cemented themselves as the NBA Finals favorites. As for Dallas, they'll be giving up Devin Vassell, Terrence Davis, and a future first-round pick. I know in terms of, star value, this isn't fair for Dallas, but it's LeBron James we're talking about. Luka Doncic has never played with a true star other than 40-year-old Dirk and Kristaps Porzingis. So the Mavericks, who are currently on the outside fighting in from the Western Conference, add arguably the greatest player in NBA history to join forces with Luka Doncic. Let's talk about some other moves around the league. Julius Randle, that experiment in Miami really has not worked out. I think we cut our ties with him at a good time. He'll be going to Phoenix for Lonnie Walker and a couple future second-round picks. The Suns are going all in on their older core, and now they're adding another solid piece in Julius Randle. Next up, the Raptors are starting to sell. They'll be trading OG Anunoby to the Charlotte Hornets for Kai Jones and a first-round pick. This is a huge deal for the Hornets. They already have some really good perimeter defenders, and now they're adding another one. The Hornets look like they could be the favorites to come out of the Eastern Conference. The Sixers need more wing depth. The Grizzlies need more guard depth. So this seems like a fair trade. Zaire Williams in exchange for Freddie Prinze Jr. The Clippers need a lead guard, whereas the Blazers don't really need Anthony Simons anymore because they just acquired Kevin Porter Jr., who's a pretty similar player. Simons will be going to the Clippers for Jalen Johnson and Ivica Zubac. In terms of value, I don't think it's great for the Blazers, but they need size. They need a true starting center, whereas the Clippers need a true point guard. The Raptors are continuing their fire sale as they send Fred VanVleet to the Bucks in exchange for Isaiah Thomas, not the veteran Isaiah Thomas. Zeph Rogers and 2 second-round picks. This is the Bucks' last pitch to Giannis to try to stick around. Milwaukee will not be trading Giannis away today. They want to try to win with him. He does have a player option this offseason, so by acquiring the former All-Star Fred VanVleet, he can be another piece to maybe try to push them towards a playoff spot and try to convince Giannis to stay. So that'll wrap up the trade deadline. A lot of action around the league. Multiple All-Stars and future Hall of Famers on the move. I think we made out well with acquiring Paul George. There were some big-name players who did not get traded today. Joel Embiid and Giannis both stay on their respective teams as the Sixers and Bucks each made smaller moves to try to improve their rosters. The Thunder did not take any calls on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's why we couldn't even put an offer in for him. But again, I think it's only a matter of time until Shai demands his way out. So with that, the trade deadline is done, and we are now fully focused on the second half of the season. The Paul George Knicks era begins today, and look at our first game. It's against the Dallas Mavericks, who just acquired LeBron James. I was originally planning on playing against the Nets today, but I feel like I can't refuse this opportunity. LeBron's debut, he won't be wearing 31, by the way. That's hideous. Paul George's debut in New York, so this should be a lot of fun. Both players playing their first games here, and we have a new trade at the buzzer. The Mavericks are sending Bogdan Bogdanovic to the Hornets for Dean Wade and a future first, so the Hornets are going all in. They acquire another shooter. Charlotte and the Rockets look like the two favorites right now at their respective conferences. Cam Reddish, by the way, is now fully healthy, so this is what our rotation fully healthy will look like for the rest of the year, not counting Cesar DiCarlo, because again, I do not think he will come back this year with his knee injury. I think this team is set up pretty well to make a playoff run. I'm excited to see what Paul George and the rest of the team looks like in his debut. Obviously, that's what we're most excited about leading into this game. However, there's a bigger storyline around the rest of the NBA in terms of a player who the Dallas Mavericks have just acquired.
The other forward, number 23, LeBron James.
We've got a fun one on tap here in Dallas. Paul George making his New York Knicks debut, while LeBron James at 40 years old and on his last legs, trying to show that he still has something left in the tank, making his Dallas Mavericks debut. Two future Hall of Fame forwards get set with their new teams as their championship ambitions grow here with their older age. Should be a fun one in Dallas as both of these teams start their new eras as well. We'll see if the Knicks with PG-13, or I guess PG-8 now. I mean, that doesn't really work, but DJ Ramses already wears 13, so there's not much we really could have done there. James Wiseman wins the tip, and we are underway here in Dallas. The Mavericks looking to start off strong as Caris LeVert gets the first bucket of the game on a nice little spin move inside. 2-0 ball game. Paul George with the screen. His first shot as a Knick will fall. The mid-ranger on the elbow. And will tie this game up at 2. We'll see if the Knicks can look to take the early lead as DJ Ramses, the rookie, looks to make a play. Tight defense by Luka Doncic, but DJ is able to get the layup. Now tied at 4. Paul George with it, gets the screen from Collins. George with a dime inside for John Collins, who throws it down, and the Knicks lead 6-4. Paul George is known for his scoring and his defense, but he's a very underrated passer as he misses the shot. But Wiseman is there with the rebound and the putback to put the Knicks ahead 8-4. Here's Caris LeVert with a screen from Wood. LeVert inside, step back to Wood with the throwdown. I know it's early, but LeBron has not had a big role on the Mavericks offense, whereas Paul George has with the Knicks. Here's Barrett, lobs it up for John Collins, who throws it down. What a great executed play by Collins to throw it down with the left hand. 10-8 now your score. Here is Barrett, who threw the lob up for Collins. drives inside. Barrett floats it up, no good, but Wiseman gets another rebound and another putback to extend the lead at 12-8. Here's DJ Ramses, gets it over to George. George drives inside. He gets the and one. Paul George scoring in contact as he makes the layup, completes the three-point play the old-fashioned way. 15-8. Nice three ball at the top of the key by Dylan Brooks to make it 15-11. New York starting to get the second unit to trickle into the game. DJ Ramses is still here showing off that nifty bag as he goes inside for the layup. 17-11. Here is Luka Doncic with some room. DJ Ramses thought he was going to drive inside, and that proves to not be the case as Luka hits the three. Still no points from LeBron here in the first quarter. He's currently out of the game as Luka has it at the top of the key trying to make another play. Luka Doncic hits the midi to cut the lead to 1. 17-16, now 19-16, the Knicks ahead. Paul George with it, tries to drive inside. George sends it over to John Collins, who makes the layup. Busy start for John Collins. He's got 6. Paul George with his second assist of the game. Coco Diablo inside for Collins again, now at 10, as New York leads 25-18 here late in the first quarter. We'll see if the Mavericks can try to make a play here as Luka Doncic has it. Doncic gets the three, no hand in his face from Coco Diablo as it's 25-21 with just seconds to go. DJ Ramses back inside for Collins, again misses the layup that time. So that'll wrap up quarter number 1. The Knicks lead at 25-21 in what has been a pretty close game so far. It does feel like New York has control here in the opening moments. The Knicks did not actually make a three-pointer in the first quarter, but they get one here early in the second from Cam Reddish. The Knicks actually only shot 1 3 in the first quarter, a rarity for them because they are one of the higher shooting teams in the league in terms of percentage and volume. Dylan Brooks makes the shot. It's 30-23. Christian Wood with the mismatch on Watkins. Good effort by Jackson Watkins, but there's really not a whole lot he could have done there. 30-25. Here comes Russell Westbrook, also just acquired from the Lakers. He gets the dunk. So we're talking about Paul George and LeBron James making their debuts, but there's another future Hall of Famer who is as well. 30-29. Good start to the quarter for Dallas as Watkins gets it inside for the big fella, James Wiseman, who throws it down. The Knicks are really dominating along the interior. Their bigs have done a lot better today than Dallas is, as Dorian Finney-Smith hits the shot over Patrick Feinstein. 32-31, Dallas looking to take the lead for the first time today. It's Westbrook inside, has an open man for 3. It's LeBron James who finally gets on the board for Dallas to put them ahead. 34-36 now. Reddish tries to get by LeBron, sends it over to Splash Mayo, who hits the 3. Mayo was in some trade talks, ultimately sticking around in the Knicks, and it seems like New York might look to extend him in the offseason as he hits another 3, this time in the corner to put New York back ahead, 40-38 with about 4 minutes left to go in the first half. Luka, guarded by Diablo, gets it out to LeBron off the screen, and 1! The King has made some noise here in his castle as LeBron has Dallas back ahead. Coco Diablo blows by the defense inside for the dunk. Some of these teams like the Lakers and Heat really wanted to take Coco Diablo away from the Knicks, but New York was very hesitant as they see him as a big piece of this team's future. He goes inside for Ahmed Kabongo, the second-year pro into the Democratic Republic of Congo, with the dunk. Coco Diablo again, double step back, 3-ball, got it! Coco Diablo's giving the Knicks some high-energy minutes off the bench here in the second quarter as it's 47-44. Ramses step back to Diablo. He is an open man. It's R.J. Barrett who finally gets on the board with a 3. New York didn't even try to get the 3-ball going in the first quarter, and here in the second quarter, they're shooting the 3-ball at a very high level. There's Kabongo with the block. In transition, Coco Diablo sends it inside for Ahmed Kabongo, who makes the layup. The Knicks played very well here these last couple of minutes as they're up by 8. 52-44. Westbrook gets it over to Luka off the screen. Big shot for Dallas. They had to get back into a groove, and they do that with the Luka 3. 52-47. Here's Luka Doncic again. He has Dean Wade, LeBron's best D-Wade teammate, who hits the 3. Dean Wade also making his team debut as he was just acquired from Charlotte. Nice shot there to put the Mavericks ahead late in the half. 52-53 with about 7 seconds to go. Dallas on a 9-0 run here to end the half. The Knicks going to look to change that. Ramsey heaves up a prayer, and it's good! What a shot at the buzzer by DJ Ramses to put the Knicks back ahead 55-53. This rookie is special. I mean, what a shot. Fadeaway in the corner. Bang! This building knows a thing or two about awesome fadeaways as Ramses does his best Dirk Nowitzki impression. 55-53 going into the half. The Knicks currently on top despite a big start from Luka Doncic, who looks like the best player on the floor. Obviously, Luka is going to be the number one option even with LeBron, but Dallas needs to do a better job of making sure LeBron has a role on the offense as he hits the pull-up jumper here early in the third to put Dallas ahead. 55-57. Here's Paul George. Quiet second quarter. Lobs it up for Collins. What a play by Paul George and John Collins. PG's chemistry with the new guys is very impressive considering he's been on the team for, 24 hours? 57 apiece. Here's Luka Doncic. Looks to make a play on Barrett. Step back three in the corner is no good. But Christian Wood gets the rebound. Passes it out to Caris LeVert. He connects on the triple. And Dallas is back ahead by 3. 57-60. Here comes Caris LeVert inside for Luka Doncic, who makes the layup. And the Mavericks lead by multiple possessions for the first time today as they're off to a good start here in the third quarter. John Collins sends it out to an open man. It's Paul George who connects on the triple. 62-60 after the Paul George three-pointer. George takes it in transition, blows by LeBron with the dunk. PG starting to heat up. He's playing quite well here in this third quarter as this game is tied up at 62. Luka Doncic inside. Nice move over Wiseman, but Wiseman plays really good defense there. No foul. On the other end, Ramses gets it out to R.J. Barrett, who hits for three in transition. Great ball movement by the Knicks on and off the ball as Luka Doncic makes that nice cut inside to tie the game up at 66 with about 4 minutes to go in the third. LeVert sends it over to a wide open man. It's Luka Doncic who hits the three. The Mavericks are up by 3. Jackson Watkins now drives inside, gets it out to Cam Reddish in the corner. Look at the scoreboard, 69-69. Double nice. We'll see which team is going to ruin the perfect mark as Caris LeVert brings it inside. LeVert hits the jumper, and unfortunately it no longer says 69-69. The Knicks kept the spirit because they would not score for another 3 minutes, and it looks like they're going to finally get back on the board here with a Coco Diablo three-pointer. Coco continuing to play well tonight as he's now in the double figures. 72-73, Doncic step back. Not much Coco can do there. Luka is just so gifted on the offensive end of the floor, arguably the best player in the league, as Coco Diablo has it inside, trying to back down on Luka. Nice move by Coco Diablo as it's 74-75 with 30 seconds left in the third. Russell Westbrook guarded by Mayo. Westbrook gets it over to Luka, and he will connect on the triple. Luka Doncic is on fire right now as the Mavs lead by 4. Diablo off the pick, hits the mid-ranger. Coco Diablo is on fire right now as he's up to 14 points. Luka heaves it up from full court, and he nearly gets it to fall because he is like a magician. We've got ourselves a good one here in Dallas. 78-76. The Mavericks currently on top. But this has been a really close game. The lead has never been more than, 9. Ramses inside will make the layup. That'll make it a 2-point game. 78-80. Knicks looking for the lead. It's Ramses. Step back. Tray ball is good. Again, this is not normal stuff for a rookie. At just 19 years old, this kid is special. I think it's only a matter of time until he becomes a superstar, and the Knicks really view him as their number one franchise player, and I'd be hard-pressed to think they'd be willing to trade him even for a star. Barrett, inside and one. Great play by R.J. Barrett as Dorian Finney-Smith is called for the foul. Barrett would not make the free throw, so it remains a one-score game. The Mavs look to tie it, and they do, as Caris LeVert hits the three off the assist by LeBron James. 85 apiece. Here comes Paul George. He goes inside. George is an open man on the wing. It's R.J. Barrett once again who hits the triple to put the Knicks back ahead. 88-85. Here is Karis LeVert. Tries to make a play. Gets it out to Luka. He gets nearly a haymaker from Wiseman, but still hits the three. I mean, this is just high-level offensive basketball right now. Both teams are really scoring at a high level. Paul George's three won't fall. Wiseman with his 10th rebound of the game. Backs down on Wood. Gets the putback. And James Wiseman now is a double-double. 11 points and 10 boards for the big fella. 92-88. LeBron blocked by George. What a play by PG. On the other end, Barrett lobs it up for John Collins. That might not just be the play of the night. That might be the play of the season. Paul George made that play with a block, and the Knicks executed perfectly in transition. After getting blocked, LeBron responds with a huge three to cut the lead in half with under 4 minutes to go in regulation. Here's Ramses, blows by Doncic, inside for the layup to put New York up by 5. 96-91, here comes LeBron, tries to blow by Barrett. LeBron using his brute force inside for the layup. LeBron started the game off quiet, but he's really starting to heat up down the stretch. Deep three for George, won't fall, but Wiseman is there for another putback. James Wiseman's doing the dirty work tonight on offense as he's now got 13 and 11. Wiseman's really making a big impact, honestly, on both ends of the floor. Mavericks win the jump ball, looking to make it a one-score game. Luka drives by Ramses, pull-up mid-ranger, will not fall. Christian Wood with the rebound and the putback over George, as it's 98-95 with about 2 minutes to go. The Knicks want the ball in the hands of George. He gets it over to Collins for the dunk. John Collins now with 18 points. Paul George has to have a good 5 or 6 assists tonight. Paul George has not shot the basketball well, but he's really passing it at a high level. Currently at 5 assists, as Ramses misses the 3. Collins with the offensive rebound and the putback. The Knicks have done so well tonight on the offensive glass. James Wiseman in particular, but now Collins gets a huge play as he's up to a team-high 20 points. Doncic, step back, 3-ball is good. Luka is just not human, as it's a 4-point game with under a minute and a half to go. Paul George with the ball, guarded by LeBron. George drives inside for Collins again. And once more, even with Paul George not shooting well, he continues to make an impact at every area of the game. Luka misses. Good defensive stop by Ramses. Good rebound by Collins. On the other end, Wiseman with a great pass for Barrett, who dunks it home to put the Knicks up by 8 with under a minute to go. It's not looking good for Dallas as Luka heaves up a 3, and it is good. But Dallas still trails by multiple possessions, and it looks like they're going to start to play the foul game. After one singular 3-throw by Paul George, it is a 6-point lead. Luka with the spin move inside. Luka has LeBron wide open in the corner, goes for the layup himself and misses it. Good play by Wiseman, who grabs the board and is fouled, and that's pretty much how this game comes to a close. The New York Knicks take it home 108-101 as Paul George dribbles out the clock. He is 1-0 as a New York Knick as the Knicks spoil the fun in LeBron James's Dallas Mavericks debut. Overall, a pretty good performance here from the fellas. Luka played very well with 43, 9, and 4, but I think Luka kind of needs to take a step back. He took 35 shots tonight. He is Dallas's #1 option. He's their best player. He's probably the best player in the league right now. But it's going to take him a little bit of time to realize he doesn't have to play hero ball every possession because he now has LeBron James on his team. John Collins with 22 on 11 of 12 shooting. Ramses was good, double-double for Wiseman. Paul George with 11 and 6. He didn't shoot the ball well, 4 for 13 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3. But I'm really not worried about it. He played good defense on LeBron. He was really impressive as a passer. It just was an off night for him shooting the ball, and it's his first game here, so I'm not really worried about it. Let's simulate up to the All-Star break. We would go 2-1, blowing out the Nets, barely losing to Paul George's old team, Atlanta, and then we beat Brooklyn. In those games, PG did pretty well. He actually led us in scoring in the matchup against Atlanta, which we obviously lost. So let's go over All-Star Weekend, starting with the Rising Stars Challenge, in which we do have DJ Ramses in that game from Team USA. Surprisingly, he is our only player. I would have expected Coco Diablo maybe to get on there as well for Team USA. We probably would have seen Cesar DiCarlo on Team World if, his knees weren't made of glass. Team USA is on the right, Team World is on the left. It ended up being a really good game, but Team USA would win in overtime by 5 points. Jamison Xander of the Wizards with a near triple-double. DJ Ramses was solid. He did get 5 steals, although he didn't shoot the ball all that well from the field. Justice Baxter with 27 for Team World. Double-double for Christopher Killebrew. He had a big game. Let's now go to All-Star Saturday night as we look at the dunk contest and the three-point contest. Unfortunately, no Knicks. Here's the lineup for the dunk contest and then the three-point contest. Houston's Jalen Green will be participating in both events. Ultimately, Green would win the dunk contest, while Zymer Donaldson of the Magic would end up winning the three-point contest. That'll bring us to the All-Star game itself. Here's a look at the All-Star rosters. No Knicks, no Paul George for what it's worth. I think George finished 9th in Eastern Conference front court voting, and, well, nobody else for our team finished in the top 10. The Eastern team is technically LaMelo Ball's team, and the one on the left is Luka's team, as Team LaMelo gets the win with a 24-point performance from the All-Star Game MVP, Zion Williamson. Joel Embiid, LeBron, LaMelo, Bam, and Cade Cunningham also finish in the double figures. As for Team Luka, Jason Tatum leads the way with 23, Giannis with 21 on perfect shooting, while Luka finished with a double-double, and Jokic had damn near a triple-double. So that's going to wrap up the episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed the trade deadline and a really fun game against the Dallas Mavericks. The season's really coming down to it. We only have 23 more games, which we're probably going to split up within the next 2 episodes. I'm planning on having a prospect profile in the next episode as well. No guarantees, but that is the plan. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.